I want to thank everybody for watching Crypto Revolution. We talk about everything crypto almost daily, jumping right into the market. Today in crypto, Bitcoin, 6 hour. We'll come right back to this. So this news breaking now, the SEC is not going to appeal the court's decision on the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust ETF. The Grayscale Bitcoin Spot ETF has to go through the SEC's approval process still, but we're going to talk more about this in just a minute. So Bitcoin 6 hour chart, how I see it. You've got Bitcoin has been in this trading range for an extended period of time from March the 10th. It hasn't been amazing. Now you're in this rising channel, 68% chances it breaks to the downside. You got overhead resistance at about 28,000. Now this is a BTC USD chart, right? And so a little bit different from the USDT chart. I'll show you in a second. But the bottom line is this: the Bitcoin bulls have to break 28,000 and then 31,800, which is major overhead resistance. And then you're looking for 36,000 out of Bitcoin. You get some positive news, which we have some positive news right now. But again, trade the charts, right? News comes out and right now it's not pumping the market. If you get a breakdown of this rising channel, and then a retest of this support, right? Previous support. If it doesn't hold and this breaks lower, then potentially you see $23,300 and $20,000 Bitcoin. I've got some amazing shout outs to give in my leverage trading group. We're killing it. 30%. You see the setup right here was posted. BLZ 42%, 63% out of Pepe Community, 10% out of LQTY, 15% out of AVAX, 23% out of ADA, Loom 216%, 82%, 60%, 52%. Everyday bangers. If you want to make money in this market consistently and you want to do it on a short-term basis, this is follow the leader. All you have to do is follow the leader. They're going to give you constant updates on the trade, what's happening, where are they moving their stop loss to, when are they taking profits, everything's covered. Email me, cryptobitcoinchris@gmail.com. You want $100 or $200 off, plus 60% off, cheapest prices ever if you want. We're going to go back to the spot Bitcoin ETF filing, and this is from Kathy Wood's ARK Invest. And one idea that's being stated is there's a 90% chance of approval by ARK's January 10th deadline. And that's a big number, 90%. Now, this is from two analysts coming from Bloomberg. And so we'll see how much weight that carries and how 90% is a pretty big number. So ARK in 21 shares, they had to update their prospectus. They had a ton of small changes and new language, further context, and additional risk disclosures. The updates, likely made at the SEC's request, amounted to at least 5 pages of text, signifying that the agency likely had many comments for ARK. This back and forth between the SEC and the fund sponsors is standard practice for new launches, but first time for a spot Bitcoin ETF, indicating that the SEC is working to approve ARK's proposal. So the SEC is a disclosure regulator, not a merit regulator. This means they aim to ensure that key information is disclosed properly, including potential risks, but isn't supposed to skew the merit of an investment. So they're saying one of the key points is Bitcoin is a trust asset with a custodian that are held in segregated accounts in the Bitcoin blockchain wallets and are not commingled with corporate or other customer assets, had to be stated. Determining the value of the trust Bitcoin, they're going to use the index. It's not in accordance with USGAAP. The actual or perceived use of Bitcoin and other digital assets is obviously there's illicit transactions that take place on the Bitcoin blockchain, and this may adversely affect the Bitcoin industry. And this is just a warning, right? That makes the SEC happy. They also went through and stated that mining operations, Bitcoin mining operations, consume significant amounts of electricity, which may have negative environmental impact. And again, this is just to make the SEC happy. 90% approval rating. Remember, Bitcoin Trust, Bitcoin Spot ETF gets approved. Bitcoin's going to act like an altcoin, right? People are going to FOMO into Bitcoin. Obviously, we've got a halving run up that's going to start close to the beginning of the year, hopefully sooner. We've got these spot ETFs that when these pop off and get approved, I mean, they're running out of reasons. The SEC has run out of reasons they can decline these spot Bitcoin ETFs. 90% shot at approval in January. I like the way that that sounds. Again, as a source, according to Reuters, the SEC is not going to appeal the court ruling regarding Greyscale's spot Bitcoin ETF case. The game changes completely if this happens. Russian attackers may have been behind the hack of Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX. So they said it could be a slew of attackers and hacking groups, but there was 4,500 Bitcoins that were converted from Ether at Renbridge. 2,800 Bitcoin was sent through mixers, predominantly a service called Chip Mixer. Tracing these assets is more challenging, but $4 million worth of Bitcoin was transferred to exchanges where it may have been cashed out. So what they're saying is they're like, who hacked FTX? They said it could be the North Korean hacker group Lazarus, which they've exploited several crypto protocols. There's a Russian linked actor, which seems a stronger possibility. The stolen assets that can be traced through Chip Mixer, significant amounts were combined with funds from Russia-linked criminal groups, including ransomware gangs and darknet markets, before being sent to exchanges. So the Russian group was mixing their coins possibly with these other coins from various sources that are linked to Russian criminal groups. The FTX account and FTX US were drained on November 11th, 2022, hours after the company filed for bankruptcy. You've got to wonder about an insider leak giving them access. I mean, this article is building this case about all these hacking groups, but I mean, hours after FTX declared bankruptcy, all their coins disappear. Bitcoin weekly chart. So Bitcoin right now getting rejected at the 200 SMA on the weekly time frame. Right? That is not bullish. You want to start talking about bullish ideas, you need a break and hold to 28,000, right? Then we'll talk about more bullish scenarios. But you also have a lot of resistance at 31,000, 31,800. This support level needs to hold down here. Otherwise, you could see a move lower. Real quick idea on LQTY. So this is one of our signals in the leverage group, right? Where LQTY is in this ascending triangle, right? This is supposed to break higher. But the key is, and shout out to Rob for this, the key is trading is not predicting. It's an if-then statement. If this breaks higher, you go long, 20% gains possible. If this goes lower and breaks this trend line, you go short. If this happens, then do this. If this happens, then do this. Well, now we go back to the LQTY chart live, and you can see this broke to the downside and we shorted it. If it would have broken higher, we would have went long. And these are leveraged trades, and so you're making huge percentages on these smaller moves. So this is a 14% drop. Right? If you would have used 3x leverage, you're up 44% on this short that was posted in group earlier today, right? So I just want you to understand that this is not a crystal ball. Technical analysis is not like going to predict the future. I know everybody wants it to be, but it's just going to give you, if this happens, then do this. And you'll hit your biggest trades if you just react to what the market is doing. The patterns will give you an edge, but the price action, breakdowns or breakouts to the upside, give you the direction that you should be taking on the trade. So again, just important idea where when you're looking at these charts, you can trade, when you can trade the market both ways, it opens up so many more possibilities. Because then you're going long or you're going short. We nailed the LQTY setup. Again, anytime you got any type of triangle, those are my favorite. Falling wedges or triangles because they have an apex, right? When it runs out of room, like it's got to do something. So that's like the timer. The price action stays in here, stays in here, stays. And that's the timer. You know it's coming. You know the move's coming. It's running out of room, right? And so after you get good confirmation of the breakdown or break higher, you take the trade. If you guys like the content I provide on a daily basis, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment in the comment box. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow.